What's up, Bethel students? Welcome to the live stream tonight. I'm so glad you're here. I love what's happening in the chat. Jason Hoyles, if you're watching, stay with us. Hang out a little bit. Embarrass your son all you want. You have all the rights to. Moose is heading up. All right, see ya. See ya, Moose. Take care. Oh, still there. You want to say hi? You want to say it? No? All right. Anyways, I'm so excited about tonight. We got a great live stream for you. We got some awesome content made by your leaders, and it's going to be good. I hope that you are inspired and you laugh and you have a good time tonight. But one of the most important parts about tonight is we are in our second week of our mentorship series that we started last week. And I want you to know that if you missed out last week, you got to go back at some point in the next couple days and watch the conversation that I had between myself and my friend who is a mentor of mine. His name's Dan Clark. It was so good. Tonight, I'm really excited to welcome my old pastors, Carla and Jason Small, from before I moved to Stratford when I was living in Burlington at my parents' house, and I was working at a church called Waterdown Community Church. I'm so excited to welcome them to the youth live stream tonight. They are people that are seriously like the most legit, top-notch people, and you're going to learn a lot from them tonight. So glad you're here. Make sure you stick around through the whole thing. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. Anyways, that being said, we're going to jump up into the first bit tonight, and this is something we started last week, and it's so good. So if you love your leader, Jill, throw it in the chat. Tell Jill how much you love her because she's awesome, and she's got something called the midweek pick-me-up, which we could all use a pick-me-up in the middle of the week, so let's check it out. Here's your midweek pick-me-up.
Hey Bethel students, and welcome back to the second installment of Midweek Pick Me Up. This week has been a little bit crazy, but I still want to start it off with a reminder that next Friday, May 28th is, Overflow 2021. My sister surprised me with this shirt yesterday, and I absolutely love it. And I cannot wait for Overflow. It's always such a good time, even though it looks a little bit different this year. We are still going to have a great time. So make sure you sign up on our website. And now, into the midweek pick-me-up. So this week for my family in particular has been a little bit of a whirlwind. It's been a little bit crazy. As you can see, there is a new background, and that's because my old background was in my room, but my walls are bare now. My sister and I are packing up and we are moving out on July 1st. We're actually moving to Stratford again. So right now we're kind of outside of Stratford, but we're not moving far, so we can still come and see all your beautiful faces when we're allowed to. But anyway, so this week's verse of the week has been, it's been a good reminder through this time of craziness for us anyway. It's John 16 verse 33, and it says, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." So I got it for you in the Message version again, just so it's a different translation and you can hear it worded a little bit differently. And it says, "I've told you all this so that trusting me, you will be unshakable and assured, deeply at peace. In this godless world, you will continue to experience difficulties, but take heart. I have conquered the world." So I think that's just a great reminder for us that God says we will struggle, we will have difficulties, we will have hard times, we will, we're gonna have trouble. But when we trust in God, He will make us unshakable, He will make us deeply at peace, we'll be assured. And it's just so amazing that God never changes. No matter what, God remains the same. And if we remain in Him, we will be at peace, we will be assured, and we will be unshakable. So that just reminds me that God is our foundation. And as long as we plant our feet on Him, He will provide for us. And again, He is never changing. He loves us no matter what. So your song for this week is actually a word that was in the verse. It's called Unshakable, and it's by Mid-Cities Worship. It's amazing. It says in the song, "Who you were is who you are." And it's just another wonderful reminder that God is never changing. He always remains the same, and He loves you no matter what. So that is your midweek pick-me-up this week. A reminder again, sign up for Overflow on our website. And yeah, have a wonderful week.
Awesome. Thanks, Pastor Jill, for preaching it to us there. That was awesome. I feel encouraged. I bet you also feel encouraged. I don't know if my mic's a little quiet. I'm going to turn it up a bit. Maybe that's better, hopefully. Anyways, I'm so encouraged by that. So thank you, Jill, for shooting that video, sending it to us for the live stream. You said something really important there, and that is something that's coming up in literally a couple days. It's going to be awesome, and it is Whoops, that's the wrong one. This one, Overflow 2021, is happening May 28th at 5:30 p.m. Here's the thing. We were going to do it at the church, but the lockdown, as you know, has been extended. Now, I know that some of you are not following the rules, and you know what? I can't tell you what to do. I want to encourage you to follow the rules, but either way, we won't be allowed to host it at the church. We can't have it at the church, unfortunately, in person. So we're going to have to maneuver it to fully online, which means that you'll be able to tune in right from where you're watching right now, right from your own home or wherever that you want to watch it that unfortunately isn't the church. And I need you to sign up. It's a completely free event. And I want you to know that if you sign up, you're going to be put into a draw to not only possibly win an iPad from Overflow, but some other gifts and prizes that they're giving away. But I need you to sign up today. You need to sign up today. Even right now, open up another tab, go to bethelstratford.org/students and sign up today. It's completely free. I'm going to be making these kits for the event and for the conference that I'm going to drop off at your house, or you could come pick it up from the church in the previous days before the event, that are going to include a wristband. They're going to include some candy. There's going to be some other stuff in there. So you're going to have a kit for you to kind of experience it at home. It's going to be different. It's going to be a little bit hard, but we're going to have an awesome, awesome time, and I can't wait for it. Overflow is one of the best weekends of the entire year. So May 28th, that's a Friday. Book it off. Sign up right now, bethelstratford.org/students. And you're going to be put into a draw to win some awesome, awesome stuff. Okay, so don't miss out on that. Don't miss out on that because it is going to be off the chain. It's going to be so good. Hey, I love some of the content that's been made recently by our leaders, and I may or may not have a hand in editing it. But that being said, let's go ahead and watch some more today.
Look at my happy, happy guy. Oh, just a happy, happy, happy guy. Oh, just a look at that, a happy, oh, the happy dog. Oh, just a happy, happy, happy.
Okay, Moose, this is my food. I have some chicken. I'm gonna eat it, okay? Oh, sounds like somebody's at the door. Okay, I'm gonna leave this here. Don't touch it. Sounds like somebody's at the door. I gotta go check. Don't touch it. That's Mommy's. Just leave it. You didn't touch my food. Wow, that was so good. Good job, buddy. Good job. Good job. I'm so proud of you. Would you like a piece of chicken? I know you love chicken. So, that was Moose and I's video this week, and you saw Moose not eat the chicken, which I thought for sure he would. But that's all. Have a great week. Bye!
He's a good boy. He's a good boy. I have a feeling that if Maddie had left him for another 5 seconds, he would have devoured that chicken. So shout out to all the people in the comments with dogs saying, my dog would have ate that right away. Moose is a good guy, but he's also sneaky. We've done it before. We actually expected him to eat the chicken, so he's been a good guy. If you've enjoyed some of these videos, why don't you let your leaders know in the chat so you get a laugh each and every week. And talking about laughs, this might be one of the funniest videos that we get to see each and every week, and it's a show that's called Cooking with Katie. So check it out.
Hello, Bethel students. Back again on Katie's Kitchen. So this week, again, I'm doing a little takeover. Julian's practicing his camera work. But today, we're going to be going more of the healthy version of last week's. It was a little sugary, so I thought I might need something to counterbalance that. We're going to be making Katie's gourmet salad. And you may be thinking, what's in that? It must be really fancy. She's married to a chef. There's probably a lot of different thingies, ingredients in it. I think. But I'll let you know, yes, you can make it fancy, schmancy, whatever, but this is just one of the best things I know I like to eat. And you'll probably like to eat your salad this way too. I know Boo Radley and Moose also do. That's not salad, that's my leg. All right, let me just get the stuff out and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back. I got all of the ingredients needed. So let's get right down to it. So first you need a bowl. Where's the lettuce? Or anything else is in there? No, it's empty. Get your bowl. Boo Radley, do you have your bowl? Yeah. Fletcher in the sunroom, do you have your bowl? No. All right, so then you're gonna open, what is this? Some beautiful lettuce. So I got two kinds because we got some spinach in here, different types of lettuce. So you know what, you just gotta, nature, what did you say, Julian, earlier? Guacamole. Nature's knives. Keep on going with nature's knives, I guess. With your breaking up the lettuce, you don't want too much in your mouth because, who wants salad all over their face, right? I know I don't, but hey, maybe you do. I don't judge. All right, so we're getting some more in there, a little mixer-upper. Little mixy. Okay, I think we're almost about time to move on to the next thing. I think so. So you got your lettuce and you put it away. Then you go over to the table. Bon appetit. Katie's gourmet salad. Woo! Woo! And I'm not kidding, this is the best kind of salad. You know what also? Just to kick it up a notch and to, blend it in a bit, we do have some green sprinkles here. So just to add a little bit of a kick for this little health nut, you're gonna add those sprinkles in, mix it together, and then, that's decadent. A little crunch, who needs guacamole when you have sprinkles? Well, that's it, Bethel students, for Katie's gourmet salad. You can ask anyone. This is honestly how I eat my salad, and it's the best. Who needs soggy lettuce with dressing? I do like to mix up with some fruit or something sometimes, but yeah, this is the typical Katie's gourmet salad. Right, Boo? Do you want some? All right, see you next week, Bethel students.
Guacamole.
I think as I think. I think as I think. I think as I think.
I don't know what to say about that, but I learned something every single week from cooking with Katie. Seriously, I definitely have become a better chef by all of these amazing instructional videos, and I really am interested to understand why you always eat salad with your hands though instead of using a fork. Is it because there's no dressing on it, so it's not as messy? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It just kind of weirded me out. So if you're one of those people that eats salad with their hands, why don't you put a hand emoji in the chat and let us know? And if you are, you definitely want to let us know so Katie doesn't feel alone. But also give it up for Katie. Give it up for Katie in the chat because she's such a good sport and she's hilarious. So I was watching a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago, and then I rewatched them today. There's a funny show that's called The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, which is kind of how we've based the live stream off of. There's all these different parts that happen, or bits or skits or funny videos and stuff, and they do this one funny bit on their show that's called Bad Signs. Okay, and what happens is they put it out to the World Wide Web and say, hey, if you've ever seen a bad sign, take a picture of it and send it to our show so that we could broadcast it to the world. And it is seriously hilarious, and I am totally ripping this off. So this wasn't my idea. I didn't find these pictures, came right from the show, but I figured you deserve a good laugh this week, and so I want to show you some bad signs that happened on this show, and you're just gonna get a good laugh from this. You're gonna seriously get a good laugh. So here's one. What do you think about this one? Do not enter. Entrance only. Imagine driving, Victoria, you just got your license, you're driving down the road, and this is the sign you pull up to. What do you do? This is seriously nuts. This one got me good. Just going in the grocery store looking for some food. You're like, oh, that looks like good. Oh, look, it's only 99 cents. I wonder why. Not the best, but still good. They picked out some rotten oranges and still packaged them. But hey, at least they were honest, right? At least they were honest with their packaging. This is a very appropriate one for our time right now. Employee must wash hands. They must wash hands. Like it's a suggestion that, we would hope that you would wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. It's so good. Talking about bathrooms, here's another funny one to get you laughing. This is on a bathroom door. Customer occupancy limit 1 hour. 1 hour. Maybe if you ate some of these oranges, you would be having to be in the bathroom for an hour, but that's just crazy. That one made me laugh real good. Here's a good one. Has anyone been to IKEA before? IKEA is awesome. I love IKEA. I grew up down the road from an IKEA down in Burlington, and I used to go get their food all the time when literally I'd find like dimes and nickels in the couch and stuff. Back in the day when we used dimes and nickels to pay for things. And so they have their hot dogs, and they're pretty disgusting, but like when you're a kid, you eat anything, right? So nothing pretty bad about this picture. Makes sense, but what's that in the corner? Not actual size. They needed to put a disclaimer there in case anyone was confused that they were going to get a hot dog that was like 20 feet long. No, not actual size. Okay, I'm going to have to move my camera down here so that you can see this next one. It's a spelling mistake at a cafe. Toaster for beagles only. Not golden retrievers, not shih tzus, but beagles only. Toaster for beagles only. I think that's supposed to say bagels, obviously, but it doesn't, which is funny. Talking about dogs, here's another one. This is an animal clinic. Somebody took a picture driving by and they saw this animal clinic. Now watch me snip. Now watch me spay. So good. Get your dog or your cat spayed or neutered. It's important. Anybody remember the show The Price is Right? They used to say that all the time. Anyways, here's another one. If you're looking for buying a home, if you want to buy a home, Pastor Chad and Melissa, they just sold their home and bought a new home, which is pretty cool. And so if you're looking to buy a home, this one's pretty cool. It comes with free tacos. Purchase a new home and get free tacos. Now, this sign wouldn't be as silly if it was like lifetime free tacos. You know what I'm talking about? Like that would be total game changer. Total game changer. Here's another used one. Speaking of tacos, used donuts. Imagine walking into a store, seeing this little bin, donuts wrapped in cellophane, and that one in the back, it doesn't even look like it's wrapped in cellophane. That's just absolutely disgusting. I can't even believe that's a thing. If you would eat that used donut, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Here's a good one. 21st Street. 21st Street. 21st Jump Street, right? Like that's so silly. Like they totally put a spelling mistake right on the sign. That is a bad sign. Bad sign. See if anybody's saying anything in the chat. They look like the ones we sell at Tim's. At least you guys don't sell used donuts. At least to my understanding, they're not used. Okay, here's another one. Please pay your parking fee before existing. I need like funny background music during this. Please pay your parking fee before existing. Obviously, they meant to type exiting, because that would be real deep. I mean, like, imagine before you existed, before you were born, you had to pay a parking fee. That's crazy. And maybe your mom knows something about that as she carried you in the womb for 9 months. You kind of were taking up a parking spot, right? So treat your moms nicely. Treat your moms nicely. Please pay your parking fee before existing. That's crazy. I love this one. This one is just, oh my gosh, this one is so silly. Discover the great flavors of citrus. But take a good look at what's in that bin right now. It's full of onions. It's full of onions. It's so ridiculous. That's so silly. All right, we got a handful more, so I'm just trying to rocket through these as fast as I can. Here's another one. Great food, low prices, curved yellow fruit for only 49 cents. And in brackets it says bananas, because most people apparently call it curved yellow fruit. That one is just ridiculous, but 49 cents, not bad a pound. This one got me laughing, guys. This one was hilarious. No smoking, except for except for guide dogs on the patio after 10 p.m. So I'm sure they were supposed to put some more spacing in between that sign. That's a bad sign. That one is really bad. That one's so funny. No smoking, except for guide dogs and on the patio after 10 p.m. That one was good. If you are loving these, if you're getting a good laugh, if you're like, man, Carlo, I just need to pick me up like this, I just needed to laugh and let loose a little bit. Let me know in the chat if you're having as good as a time as I am looking at these. If you've ever been to a pawn shop or a store that looks like this, where there's just a lot of random stuff, you always see like a glass cabinet that spins with watches in it. You're like, oh, look, Rolex, Omega, Gucci watches. Genuine fake watches. So these are the realest of the real fake watches, just in case you were interested in getting a fake watch. You don't just get any fake watch, you get genuine fake watches. Silly. This one's good. You're gonna have to look real close in that bottom right corner. This right here would be the right corner of the screen. Forbidden carry-on, forbidden in carry-on baggage. So this is a picture taken at an airport of a display cabinet. Said the things you're not allowed to bring on an airplane. I think in the background there's a rifle powder, which makes sense, obviously. Maybe a battery or something back there. It looks like an air horn, a really old used air horn that's leaked. And then a giant chainsaw. So just in case you were taking a trip anywhere soon, maybe with the fam, you got to leave your chainsaw at home. Got to leave the chainsaw at home. So silly. Oh, this is a good one. You're going to like this one. Somebody was walking down the street, and every once in a while you see one of these signs on the side of the road, which is really sad. Someone, their pet ran away. Lost tortoise, please call. And then their number there is obviously blurred out. Lost tortoise, please call. here's the thing, right above that sign, there's another one that says found, turtle, leave message, answers to the name Speedy. It's so good. It's so good. Here's a good one. Canada Day coming up somewhat soon. If you love fireworks, I love fireworks. I don't know about you, but I just love things that explode and make loud noises and, are pretty. Fireworks, they check off all those on the list. $79.97, expensive, but I think worth it. Right for the low price beside fireworks is first aid kits in case you feel like shooting fireworks at each other. Not recommended, but I might have done that in my old days. Moving on, this one was taken at a church, and I gotta get my camera out of the way here just for a sec so you could see what it says. It says confession today, aka Saturday, will be until exactly 5:30 p.m. So this was obviously a note on a church door from a Catholic church. There is only one priest available for confession today. Make your confession direct, to the point, and confess only your sins and offenses. No need to explain why you did it. Thank you very much. That sounded like a really busy priest. Really busy priest. Okay, we just got a couple more here tonight for bad signs. Arby's. I don't know why anybody would be thinking Arby's. You've maybe heard the commercial. I'm thinking Arby's, and I've never thought Arby's. I had it once; it was disgusting. And clearly, they're not doing so well right now because they're looking to hire anybody. Anybody can just go and work at Arby's. So let your mind go wild and think about who Arby's wouldn't hire. They would hire them. Arby's is willing to hire anybody. They're willing to hire anybody. Victoria, this one is for you. This one's for you as you just got your license. Congratulations, by the way. That's so exciting. Make sure you don't speed. Follow the speed limit. But if you happen to drive through this town, this is a bad sign. Make sure you don't go over 5.37 kilometers per hour, which is like slower than letting go of your brake, which is hilarious. It's so good. Okay, this next one is pretty disgusting, to be honest, but it gave me a really good laugh. Please use tongues to pick up pastries. Please use tongues to pick up pastries. Thanks. Short form, THX. Thanks. That is just, I don't even know what to say about that one. That one's just next level stupid. It's just so funny. You know you wouldn't be buying those pastries if you saw that, because there was a kid that tried to pick them up with his tongue, and then he's like, oh, actually, I don't like this one, and he probably put it back. Real nasty. Okay, we got two more here. Two more bad signs of the day. Linda's Market, they've got a lunch sweat special. We have worms. And then they're talking about the Powerball, the Mega Ball, which is kind of like the American Lotto Max. Lunch special. We have worms. Just makes me want to drive down to Linda's Market and get their lunch special. Nasty. And last bad sign of the night. Please do not sit on fence. That one would hurt. That one would hurt. I don't think that would be fun at all. Please do not sit on fence. Yeah, that seriously would be next level gnarly. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that few minutes of checking out some bad signs from around the world. So here's a good sign for you, though. Coming up in just a few seconds as I open up the stream, my friends Carla and Jason Small are going to be joining us on the stream for Mentorship Part 2. Again, if you didn't see Part 1, make sure after this you go back and watch it at some point. So we're going to talk about what it means to have a mentor in your life and why it's so important. And my goal for you guys watching tonight and those later on and the ones that can't be here is that by the end of this series, you would desire to have mentors in your life pastorally, whether that may be me or the different leaders at the church. In your field of work and in your passions, you would have somebody that would be training you up and inspiring you, friends and family doing a mentorship in a community, doing it together. It's so important. So I'm going to start the Zoom meeting here, and we'll get started in just a sec. Hey guys, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, wait, let me try this. Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. And I got to figure out how to hear you. So I'm running like 10 things on my laptop all at once. There's too many
Oh,
buttons.
you look like a DJ with that sweet mic set up and
Well, if I showed you what was under my hat, you probably wouldn't be thinking I look like a DJ.
oh, you got that sweet frosted tips going on now.
It's
So,
almost frosted tips. It's getting real close, and it's quite embarrassing. But you got to do it for the kids, right?
or impressive, one or the other. So,
Well, I'm really excited that you guys look at where are you guys right now? Is that your backyard?
it is.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's
It
so
looks more
cool.
impressive because we're up on a
We're up
raised
high.
deck. Yeah.
Okay. Me and Maddie had worked on the porch the other day. It's not quite that view. We got some interesting people that walk by every once in a while, but it was fun. It was fun to definitely work outside. We definitely enjoyed it. Well, I know this is a little bit different because you can see me, and I can see you guys, but you can't see any of the students. So the way that we've kind of had to configure this is that not everybody likes going on Zoom and turning their camera on, especially if they're young, right? You got kids, so you probably know all about that.
We have
So we just
teenagers who they don't love turning the camera on Zoom.
Right. And so we just don't go down that road anymore. And every once in a while we do Zoom and we'll do it after this for like 10 minutes just to hang out, see each other. But we've been doing this YouTube live thing for a couple months and it's been really fun. So all the students can see you and they can hear you from my understanding. And if you can't, students, let me know. Oh, they said that they can't hear you. Do you guys want to try and talk again?
Can you hear us now? Hello.
I'm going to go ask Maddie. Maddie,
Okay.
can you hear them?
Hi, Maddie.
We love Maddie. She's amazing. So,
My audio is through my headphones? That's weird.
is it working now?
I think so. I think I think it's working now. We're just gonna roll with it. They can hear. Yep, they said they can. Wait, some people say they can, and some people say they can't.
Hmm.
We can hear you. Hello.
Hey. So,
We can hear them.
Okay,
okay,
that's good.
sweet.
Awesome. Sorry for that little mix up there. That happens every week, to be honest. Though I can't. I've never really escaped it. It's just always happening. Anyways, I'm really excited that you guys were willing to take a couple minutes to hang out with us tonight, and we miss you guys so much. By the way, we miss you a lot, and
Oh,
we're stalking you on the internet all the time just to somewhat keep in touch to see what you're doing. But I'm really glad that you're with us tonight. And sorry, I'm trying to do 10 things at once. Why is this not working? There we go. Now it's working. Okay. We've been talking about mentorship, and you guys are the second people that have kind of been on the live stream for this series. And last week we had Pastor Dan Clark, who is
oh,
a
Dan's
legend
awesome.
in my eyes, a good friend of mine, and saw me at some of my worst times in life when I was an angsty teenager.
Hmm.
So it was fun to reminisce with him about old stories and that kind of stuff. But
And
we've
he's
been
just going
talking
to
to
be a new senior pastor in North Bay, so that's
That's
cool.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Packing up all three kids,
Hmm.
which is going to be a crazy ride, but excited for him because he's
Yep.
awesome. So, kind of what we've been doing is I picked some people in my life and in Maddie's life that have been mentors to us and continue to mentor us even from afar. So, you guys are living in Barrie now, but we still get to hang out every once in a while at a district events or whatever. Um, and I wanted to be able to talk to the mentors that were in my life that had inspired myself and Maddie, and that really helped shape the people that we are now because of the time and effort that you put into just loving normal people like us, which is really special. And so the goal is that by the end of this, that the students would see a little bit more into Pastor Carla's life, a little behind the scenes, and also that they would aspire to have mentors in their life and they would see that there's good reason to have mentors. So that being said, um, I want maybe you can give a little background story for how we got connected and where we met. Um, I've talked about you guys a million times, so I'm sure they know your names. But give us a little background of how we met, and then if you want to, no pressure. But I've given the open door to say any silly or embarrassing story that you can think of me.
How
If
much
you
time do we have?
if
So no,
you've ever wanted to get that blackmail story out, now's the time.
sweet. You want to start?
Okay. Um, well, I was thinking back to when you were our Bible school intern, and I think it was one of the first times like I hadn't really got to know you yet, and for some reason we had been given a whole
Spider.
lovely. Um, Someone had donated a truckload of stuff, and somehow you got roped into helping me for the day. So I remember we drove all the way to Paris in this truck, and it was the first time I really got to talk to you. And I just thought it was really good to get to know you that day. But what was really kind of funny about it was that it was an entire truckload of maxi pads, and you helped me unload. You helped me for the whole day unload an entire truck of maxi pads for like women in need, and you never complained, and you didn't even like. So I was impressed. I
That
thought,
is
wow,
so.
this guy has a servant's heart, and he's like, totally willing to move a whole truckload of maxi pads with
That's
so
so
many
good.
silly notes.
I didn't remember that, but now that you said it, I'm like, I do remember one of those first days. And you know what's so funny is we're in the season right now in youth ministry where most of our students are pretty young. So I imagine there's a lot of young dudes watching right now that are like, I don't understand why this is so funny.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a gold story. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was so good as Pastor Carlo came to us as a Bible college intern, and so we got to like control whether he graduated or not. Which wow, look at the power in that! And so, but he actually, I don't know what we gave you, but it was probably like a 99% because he was fantastic. Um, so I remember that actually, I think it was your first Sunday with us, and we were moving sound equipment. And so we had these heavy speakers and stuff. And Carlo came in, he was trying to be like very helpful and like do things right away. And I was right beside him, and he went to put the speaker into my truck, and he dropped it, and it put a big dent in the side of my truck. And he looks at me like, did he see that? Can I cover it up? Like, maybe he didn't see that. Maybe I can pretend it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, you just dented the side of my truck with this giant speaker. And that was his first day. So anyways,
It was a crappy truck.
yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was amazing. And so anyways, that was kind of a funny moment. I remember
I
great.
remember not trying to keep eye contact with you either. I straight up, I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. It's the first day. I can't. I can't own up to it. I'm too embarrassed.
So that was fun. I remember some really impressive Shania Twain singing around the campfire.
Mm.
So Carlo, he was really good. So if you haven't heard him do like "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" by Shania Twain, you need to get him students to do that little rendition for you. It's killer. So he's
That's
fantastic.
definitely my go-to karaoke song. Not much has changed in that area of my life. That's on the playlist at least once a week still.
Yeah. And so we had Carlo like unplugging toilets. We had Carlo trying to thaw out frozen pipes. But yeah, just so fantastic. Just a servant's heart. That's what I love about Carlo. He'll do whatever to make a difference. When we said, hey, would you be the Rink church pastor? So he started off as Bible college intern. Then he was kind of doing some of our youth stuff with us. And then we decided to launch this new church at Hockey Rink. And so we were like, Carlo, would you like to take this on? And he just like, sure, I'm not a hockey guy, but we're just going to go in and do it right away. So that's what I love about him. So it's great.
Those were some of my most favorite times in Waterdown, and I still have my rink puck on my desk at
Sweet.
work. Actually, it's still there.
That's
And
cool.
there's so like I think of like how we delivered those. So students, I was helping plant this church or came in and would help make it work on Sunday or run on Sunday. And so we would distribute flyers, but instead of flyers, because it was held at a hockey rink, we would give out hockey pucks with a sticker with the information of like, come join us 9 a.m. There's free breakfast, which we always had free breakfast at the church on Sundays. Pancakes never got old, right? And I remember we took the youth group to deliver them, and there was a couple students that didn't deliver them and put them on the front porch or
Oh,
knock on the door, and they just started throwing pucks
Chucking
at
pucks.
houses, like chucking them. And I'm pretty sure, Pastor Jason, you got an
I
email
got
or
a
a
couple
call or
phone
two.
calls. Yeah. Why are you guys firing pucks at our house? So
And we
that's
did it in
very
like
good,
the pitch
Pastor. No
black
big deal.
too.
Yeah.
It was nighttime, so like it was really just sketchy looking. I've so many good stories. Like I remember you before I bought my car. Remember my little Mazda Protege?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thing lasted. Thing lasted. Um, you used to let me borrow your truck all the time, and I was like, man, either this guy is nuts or he really loves me. It's only one of the two.
It had a
And
big dent in the side, so it was no big deal.
well,
And you could get a banana peel stuck to your pants when you sat down in it because it was
yeah,
all
very true. Do you remember the one time that I had borrowed it, and we were driving the students to Wonderland? And so we took them all in their own
Oh
vehicles.
yeah,
I didn't have
yeah.
my own at that time. And we're literally back in the church parking lot. And as I'm pulling in, like to the parking spot, not into the parking lot, like about to park, like this far away, I hear a big boom. And then part of the car just flattens down. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And there's students in the car. I'm like, this isn't mine. And there's probably more things that I can't say out loud right now because I don't want to admit to them that I probably did to your truck. And I know I'm one of probably a 10 or 20 people list that destroyed that vehicle. But I remember there was it looked like a leg bolt or something, or like a frame bolt from somebody else's car in the tire. Like
It was
like,
giant. Yeah.
it was massive, like as big as my fingers together. And I remember looking at it and I saw that it said Ford. And I was like, okay, well, that's not from your car because that wasn't a Ford, I was pretty sure. And then I remember Laura Bronson came with us and she was driving this old Ford Escape. And there wasn't much left to that car.
Yeah. It was like
I'm
rust.
surprised we allowed people to get in the car to drive it to wherever to the theme park and back. And so I think it came from her car, but we couldn't put the blame anywhere. There's so many good funny moments like that. One of my favorite all-time moments to share, and this is more on me. It's embarrassing on me. You guys are like straight up some of the nicest people that I've ever met. And I have this bad habit of sometimes not like I'm not doing it on purpose, but I might take advantage of that a little bit. And what I mean by is I go, oh, it's not as big of a deal because I'm not ever getting in trouble. You know what I mean? So those are kind of like my high school days that have slowly trickled away. But I remember one time I wasn't scheduled for anything on a Sunday morning. And so I thought that it was okay to just show up for service. I don't even know if I came to the first service. I might have came to the second. I was a paid employee. I was on staff at that time. And I was like, oh, everything's good. And I just picked a seat somewhere in the middle row and it was great. And I was like, oh, it's nice to have a Sunday off. And little did I know that's not how it works when you are a paid pastor or even unpaid. And I remember one time I was late at the church, real late. I was still living at my parents' house, so the church was a bit of an escape zone for me. And up in the church house office, I was there by myself, like little lamp on, and you had pulled in and came upstairs and I remember you just let me have it. And I was like in the middle of like sermon writing or something, so my mind is there. And like you like let me have it and then you left like all in the span of like 4 or 5 minutes, and I just cried like a baby. Like
Oh,
I like wept like a baby. I was so embarrassed. I was so like scared. I was like, man, I'm gonna be fired tomorrow. I'm gonna get a call, and like it was a life changing, pivotal moment for me. It was a moment of mentorship that we don't know always want to talk about. But it
was that
was
Carla that let you have it, or was it me?
never.
no, it was you. It was you. It was
Oh,
you.
I thought it was her. Sorry.
Yeah, I would have cried immediately if Carla had yelled at me then. Yeah, so many good times, and I know that more will happen in the future for sure too. So that being said, you guys, both to me and Maddie, have been mentors day in and day out. I think from day one that I started internship to the point where I remember sitting down with you being like, hey, you could hire me for free. I just want to work for you. It wasn't even about a job. It wasn't even about money. It was about being under both of your leadership. And I just had the luxury of being able to do that with living at home with my parents. And so like money wasn't even a thought to me. And like I remember I was like working part-time at the church, and then I was selling like used Lululemon to like
Oh
high
yeah,
schoolers at Plato's
Play-Doh clothes.
Closet. Like, it was like I would work 8 hours there, and it was like dreadful. And then I would come to the church and like I would feel alive again.
Mm,
But I remember like it was some of the greatest times in my life. and
mm,
and even moving on, I remember sitting in your office and going, I have no good reason to leave. Like there's nothing that's like, I think this is it. I think this is over. It's not working out anymore, or something like that. And I remember just like probably crying again because I'm pretty emotional that way. But um, going, I don't want to leave. I don't have this desire to leave because I loved learning from you guys. And I would follow you around the world if that's was an opportunity. And I remember we kind of convinced each other to move on.
mm.
So you said that some I'm going to butcher it, but it was something along the lines of sometimes what God does in scenarios is if things are tough, He actually wants you to bring you through them, not just take the suffering or the painfulness away, but He wants to bring you through it because He wants to challenge you and make you stronger. And sometimes when everything going smooth and easy, He wants to bring you to the next journey in your life. And
Mm.
um, I remember I had said that on a Sunday, and then you called me a couple weeks later. I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm moving on from community too," and it had a little bit to do with what I said to you, and you saying it back to me, and I was like, "Wow, I never thought that I would convince my boss to quit his job either."
I remember that
Yeah.
clear as day. Like, yeah, just as you said that, it was like the Holy Spirit put something in my heart. Like, yeah, Jay, this is what we need to do, which was the hardest
So
decision of our life.
yeah. So where are you guys at now? So you were pastoring a community for 13 years, I think. You planted the church, which is incredible. You had changed hundreds of lives and families in that community and beyond. But what's the life like for the Smalls now? Like, where are you guys and what are you doing now?
Well, we live in Barrie, and Carla's on staff at Mapleview Church in Barrie. I'm my role is with our district, so like our group of churches that we're a part of, and so I got like the best job in the whole planet. So I get to work and help see new churches get started. So I'm hoping some of the students watching today, like, hey, we can work with you to start new churches, and so I get and I'm serious when I say that. Like, I believe that God has something on even young people to do something incredible that way. So um, yeah, so to see new churches get started, and that's the big part of my role. The other part is I get to work with our First Nations communities in the far north and serve them and be a part of that whole thing.
That's cool. I thought I put a lot of kilometers on my car, um, but
So,
not in comparison to you guys.
yeah, COVID's been a
um,
little easier, but the year before I put 120,000 kilometers in one year, which it was like an
that's
oil.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh man, that's so cool though, and I love seeing what you guys do week in and week out. I'm always inspired by it still, and follow along very closely. So you guys have been just like the real deal mentors in me and Maddie's life. I could think of so many fun stories, but then also some other moments that were really pivotal in our life. From when we started dating, you guys were there, and we didn't necessarily like sit down and have like these counseling sessions per se, but you would always sit down and talk to us, and just exemplify what it meant to be a strong Christian couple. And we literally took notes, like literally have notes from that, and other moments to where we got married. Jason, you married us, and Carla, you were there too, and the fam was there, and it was an incredible day and an
It
incredible
was
moment.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so much fun.
We just love you guys
Um,
as a couple so much.
and up into the day where it was almost 2 years ago now that my dad had passed away, and Jason, you had been there from day one for when we knew he was sick to the moment he went to go be with the Lord, and you were there to do his funeral. And I know, talking before, that you're not like always excited to do funerals, and neither am I. And to know that you were willing to do that was like, yeah, it was something that I can never repay you for. It was so important to me, important to our family, and you really showed them um, who Jesus was in an authentic way that they wouldn't had experienced before. So there's so many things. And Carla, I could think of so many moments of like, I loved music and I had a heart for God, and you helped me really connect those two things. Um, and what it really meant to be a worship leader, not a music leader, not a song leader, but what it meant to lead people into the presence of God. And so every time me and Maddie see you singing on Sunday for church online or any of that kind of stuff, we just sit there in awe, like, just so good, so good. Everybody that's watching, if you want to hear somebody that can sing, that would win American and Canadian Idol at the same time, you have to go and check out Carla Small. I'm sure you just type her name on YouTube and she'll be famous soon enough. So many great moments like that. So we're talking about mentorship today, and I know we already went a little long, but I just felt like I needed to connect with you guys just to start off anyways. So we're talking about mentorship, and so I got a couple questions for you guys. And
Mhm.
feel free to kind of just take it wherever you feel led to. We don't have to necessarily stick to these questions. But real quick, when we say the word mentorship, what first comes to mind for you guys? Like, when if you had the smallest definition of mentorship, what would that be?
For me, it's not a program or anything like that. It's about somebody not just showing you what to do, but showing you more the why and more the heart behind why you do what you do. And so it's not just like uh, do this, do this, do this, but it's a heart transfer. I think. Um, I think we live in a world where there's like tons of people, and especially students, as you're on here. Like information is easy nowadays. Like you can Google anything, and there's tons of people with lots of information. There's not a lot of people with a lot of wisdom, and so it's like a transference of wisdom and like heart. That's kind of where I see it.
Hmm. Yeah, and I would say that for me, like um, people that have mentored me, I would say it's just like follow me as I follow Christ. Like it's more like rather than necessarily even being like a formal like I will mentor you. I feel like it's just people that have walked with me um just through everyday life but also through ministry stuff. Just people that have let me walk just a few steps behind them and just kind of see how they live as they seek to follow Christ. And I think that that's been the most powerful influence on my life, just seeing some people that are very real that have given me a like a glimpse into the window of their life and let me walk alongside them to kind of just learn what that really really means to follow Jesus.
I love that. Dan said last week, kind of a little description is like having a mentor is kind of like standing on the shoulders of a giant, somebody that's gone through it before and they've been victorious, even through the battle or the struggles that they've gone through. And Carla, I loved what you said. It was people that you walked just a couple steps behind, and
Yeah.
you know you I don't remember the exact words you just used, but it's something of like it was been life changing for you. These were people that were a safe space for you to be real and authentic, and I think that's so awesome. I think that's spot on. Mentorship isn't something that we've talked about specifically like this, because I'm with you. I think it's a very organic thing, but sometimes it doesn't come naturally, in the sense of maybe from the pastoral side or the leadership side. If you don't make a program of it, does it happen naturally? Or on the other side, you might be waiting there like, hey, am I supposed to wait until like, a wise adult comes along my side and does that? And so I feel like there's a bit of a struggle sometimes to creating the opportunities for mentorship to happen, and other sides of, if you want to be mentored, just sitting around and waiting for it. So in your guys' experience with maybe the ways that you mentored people or people that mentored you, what did that look like for you? So let me maybe rephrase that question because it's a little bit complicated. Um, were there moments in your life where you had to kind of go out of your way to seek out a mentor?
Yeah, I would say actually, totally. So there's people that were there to invest, but it took me like taking that step to want them to invest.
Hmm.
And so I had my youth pastor who was great, and he would like call me and stuff. But then when I would like reach back to him, then it was like, whoa, it really went far. His name was Tim Schwint. He was amazing, and so he's a pastor in London still, and yeah, just a great like influence on my life. Um, some others in my life. There's a guy. His name's Bill Morrow, and I remember calling him and saying, "Hey, I just want you to mentor me." And he was like, "Sure, I'll make the time." And it was like weird. He was a really busy person. Like he was actually overcharge of the entire organization of churches, the entire POC at the time. But he said, "I'll make time for you, but you got to like be willing." And so I would go with like a series of questions to ask him and like go and just. But he would take the time. And Lori Gibbons, so Bill Morrow, he would meet me like crazy late at night because he didn't have time during the day. So he'd be like, "Okay, I got time at like 11:30 till 12 o'clock at night," and we'd meet in this Tim Hortons and like just meet. And then I called Lori Gibbons and I did the same. I'm just like this young rookie guy, and so he was like a great leader, and so he'd say, "Okay, come meet me at 5:30 in the morning," because that's the only time I have time. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, 5:30 in the morning? Like that's crazy." But if you're willing to like, and that was almost like to test their resolve to see if I was serious about it too. Like they wanted to see like, hey, is this kid worth pouring into, right? Like does he want to learn? And as they do, they were open to it. So there is some intentionality. I think for me, it's like looking who those people are that I want to be like, and then say, okay, let me go seek after those people.
Hmm. So you had to want to do it is kind of like what you're saying. Like you actually had to find the desire to be mentored and to kind of seek out those people that
Mhm.
you aspired to be like, and you saw characteristics and attributes of them that you're like, I want that in my life, and it might not be fully there yet, so I'm going to surround myself with those kinds of people. How did
Mhm.
you how did you get to that point of the desire? Because I know that it can be a struggle to have, I don't know what the word would be, to have like the what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm having a brain fart. You might not think you need it, right?
Yeah.
But you did. So like, how did that happen?
Well, I think it's understanding that I don't know what I don't know. And so in life, I remember even as a teenager, like, okay, where am I going in this thing? And being able to put aside, like, they don't have to be perfect in every area. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So sometimes you look at them and like, okay, well, they're not really cool. Like, they're not what I aspire to in this, but over here, they're like, and so I want a piece of that. I want to see what that's like. So it's like looking at your own life and saying, like, where do I want to be in 5 years or 7 years or 10 years or whatever? And like looking at that and saying, more not just like, what do I want to do, but who do I want to be? And
Hmm.
that's the big question is like, if you decide who I want to be, then it doesn't matter what their vocation is or those kind of things. It's like, I want to spend time with a person that's like that. I want to find someone that's joyful. I want to find someone that's like balanced. I want to find someone that's not angry at the world and jaded, like just looking for those kind of like more life characteristics.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
think sometimes too, if you're not really sure what kind of a person to look for, I think for me, a lot of the time when I was younger, I I was sort of drawn to people that had similar interests, and for me that was music. So I surrounded myself or tried to get as close to people that I could that I admired in that department. Now that wasn't always a good idea because sometimes they're spiritually it wasn't really what I needed, but I think it just kind of got me in the arena. It kind of
Hmm.
got me thinking like, okay, who do I really want to who do I really admire? Who do I really want to be able to speak into my life? Because I'm not like the world's most outgoing, open person. I'm married to Jason, so I really don't have to talk much. Um,
Come on.
but but for me, it was more subtle. Like it was more like I don't know, just to let people. It took me longer to let people in and to also to um, kind of open up to other people. But I think as I've grown and as I've matured, now I'm so thankful for the people that were persistent in my life, that saw
Mm.
something in me, that in some cases sort of chased after me and said, no, like we see something in you and we want to like help you to be all you can be. And so now I kind of look now for those people in my life, that I can kind of say, hey, like you got something. There's, God's got his hand on your life. I see, you're really servant hearted. Like come alongside and join this project with me.
Yeah.
So maybe it can start that way with like an interest base.
Yeah, I love that. Like Jay, you talked about kind of characteristics of things you admire in other people that you wanted to grow in, and Carla, you mentioned the same things, but also some, yeah, like hobbies or interests. Like, how do you become a better musician? Hang around with good musicians, but that also have a good heart and good
Yeah.
morality. So students that are listening in and that are watching now or later on, if you're like, hey, I really love music, I want to be a better musician, or you're like, I really love automobiles, so I want to do my own brakes. I want to figure out how to fix my own car. Hang around with those kinds of people that are good at that, but also their character matches up with it. Because you did say that, you know, choosing a mentor is not just like picking anybody that you want or necessarily the one that looks the best on the outside. It has a lot more to do with the heart and character than it does on the outside, right?
And I will say there's sometimes that I've gone after people, and then when you like pull back the curtain and see what they're really like, then you're like, ew, I don't want this. And so then you back up from those people. And then you go
Yeah.
back onto other people that the more you get to know them, the more you want to be like them even more.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so another question that I had is who's a mentor in your life or was a mentor, whether they are or not still? And how did it affect your future to who you are today?
Probably the most significant mentor in my life has been Sue Ketty, um, who was a really good friend of my mom's when I was growing up. She's a bit older than me, but um, she she would say that like when her and my mom were friends when they had kids, she would say that God had put it on her heart to be my Miriam. So like the story of Moses and Miriam hiding in the bushes or whatever, watching. Well, she kind of used that analogy to help me understand how she was like someone that was just watching from just outside, watching my life and constantly like praying for me. And so that developed into a really cool relationship. We actually lived
Mm.
with them for a while, when we were on our internship. And then I had an amazing chance to travel with her for a lot of years. So she's had a huge impact in my life. That's probably one of the most significant people that I've been blessed to get to know.
Yeah, I would say my senior pastor growing up was like really became a like a like a close friend actually, and somebody I looked up to. He was like way older than me, like 30 years older than me or more, probably more than that, maybe 40 years old. But just kind of spoke into my life, encouraged me as far as like who I am today as a pastoral role, like saw something in me. He saw like the call of God in me that I didn't even necessarily see at the moment, and he pulled that out. I remember I was like, I think I was 17 years old, and he asked me to preach at the church, and I had like the worst sermon known to mankind. It was, I think I had 18 points, all starting with the letter D, and it was like such a bad sermon. But he just like was patient and like walked and journeyed and like gave me opportunity and all those kind of things and did life with me. So we worked on the farm with him together. Like he was my neighbor actually as well. So we worked on the farm together and worked like played hockey together and rode dirt bikes together and like just life stuff. It's not just the spiritual component, but it was the whole package of life stuff.
Mm. Yeah, that's cool. Did your sermon have any props?
Actually, probably did. So I remember my grandma listened to it, and my grandma was like the sweetest lady in the world. And I said, Grandma, what did you think? And I gave her a tape, like this is how old I am. It was like a cassette tape, and she listened to it, and she was like, well, it would be great if it was a 5 sermon series message. It was way too long and too many points. I was like, oh, my old grandma threw me under the bus. It must have been really bad.
That's funny. Yeah, you know when grandma's being like truthful and it
Yeah,
stings a little bit, you're like,
yeah,
okay, something's got to give then.
yeah.
That's awesome. I've loved hearing from each person so far, from Dan and from you guys, just kind of the different people that were mentors. Because sometimes when we think of the word mentor, it sounds like this, this golden, shiny person that's got it all together. But like you're talking about, these are just everyday people that were in your life, and they saw something in you, and you saw that they saw something in you. So you said, "Hey, I want to be around you. I want to be like you." And of course, there was spiritual components of it. I'm sure many times of prayer and crying together and laughing together, but also just fun stuff of eating together. And you're talking about dirt biking together and just living life. So it was very organic. And I think that was one of my biggest takeaways from you guys at community, is you really taught me what it meant to live in a community with people, and that it's even though the programs of course are important and all the kind of stuff that we do in the church, but it more had to do with like the everyday life. That text message of how you doing today, good, no, how are you actually doing today, I care about you, I want to hear from you. That stuff, it flipped my world upside down, seeing how you guys exemplified that. And it wasn't an on the hour kind of thing, it wasn't a job to you guys, it was just who you are. And I went, I want to be like those guys. I want to be like Jason. I want to be like Carla. So you guys, everything that you said, I'm like, you've done that for me. You've done that for Maddie, and that's been so awesome. I don't want to keep you forever, but I want to talk more because I love you guys. The students are like, probably it's going to be a longer stream than normal, which is probably, it was just a bad idea to say like, oh, it's only going to be half an hour, and these are like all my favorite people in the world that I get to interview. Yeah, I was lying to myself when I said that this would be short. So here's a bit of a more difficult question, and I don't want to be the pessimist, but I want to talk to you guys about um, people that continue to live a life of faith, and those that might be in a difficult place or on a journey where they might have walked away from God, and how mentorship can affect that. So my question for you is, what are some things that you've seen happen to those trying to walk a Christian life without mentors? So they're trying to kind of be a Christian on their own, and they might go to church, and they might, read their Bible, or pray before dinner time. But what are some of the things that you've seen as you've pastored people, but maybe they haven't plugged into, healthy relationships and mentor relationships?
Yeah. For me, I think there's less staying power in people sometimes, that if they don't have that network of mentors and people that are like further on in their journey. Our culture has a lot of people that will cheer you on to your face, and then behind your back, like, oh, I can't believe they made that decision. Like,
Mm,
that's so dumb. And so to have people that will actually tell you the truth in your life is like such a valued commodity, that will tell you the truth, that love you, that actually want the best for you. Like, even when it's hard to do so, even when it's like, you're being an idiot right now, you need to know this, I love you, but you need to work on some things. And so we don't welcome that in our culture very much, because we don't like the challenge,
right.
right? But I think it one of the most important things in the world, I think, is having people in your world that say no to you, like that
Mm,
actually love you enough to say, like, not in a mean way, but in a, we love you enough to say, no, that's not a good idea, like that's not wise. And so I think you make a lot less missteps in your life, and you make a lot less, you'll maybe make those missteps, but there's boundary people to keep you, like guardrails on a highway. It kind of, instead of going completely in the ditch, you just go to the guardrail and then you bounce back on. um,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think letting people tell you the truth can be really saving. Like, um, even my youth pastor, when I was growing up, like, he would pull all of us aside, like if we wanted to be involved in the worship team, even in youth, like we had to meet with him every once in a while, um, and he would ask us hard questions. But and probably when I was that age, I didn't really always love that, but I always knew it was coming. So
Yeah.
so I guess in some ways it was a really positive thing, because it kind of kept me in line, like in a good way. because his opinion really mattered to me, and I trusted him that if I told him I was struggling with something, that he wasn't gonna like toss me out, but he was gonna like
Yeah.
walk me through that. So it's important to have people in your life that can ask you hard questions because it can
Yeah.
really, really help you to not get off track.
That's so good. I feel like you guys were always a safe place for Maddie and I, and still are to call. I mean, there's still times where I'll call you, Jason, like 100 times just because I'm like, I just need somebody to like vent this out to, and I'm never worried about the repercussions of. Doesn't mean that you won't be disappointed or not sad of whatever it might be for the reason I'm calling, but I go, these are people that have shown time and again that they truly care for me and love me and proven over and over and over that I can trust them with any conversation, even the really hard gut wrenching ones that you never want to have. That's really good. That's really
Yeah, I
good.
think in life, if you have people like that that you can trust, and it doesn't come overnight, it's a
No.
Mm,
process, right? But there's like a security and a safety that comes from that. That especially when it's just even outside of your own family. Like you might have people in your own family, but even outside of that, to have people that you're like, okay, I know they got my back. I
Yeah.
know that they are for me. It's really something. Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Mm.
That's good. Okay, just one more question for tonight because I know we've gone a little over time, but it's been a real treat to be able to see you guys, some digitally face to face in virtual world. But you guys, actually, Jay, were you ever a youth pastor, or did you go straight to lead pastoring?
Yeah, no, never was the well, kind of. We did youth ministry stuff.
Before we went to school.
Yeah, I was the assistant youth pastor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, and then I was the youth guy up north and ran youth camp. So
right. Okay. So you guys have had the chance and still have the chance to encourage people all the time. And I'm sure that there are many people that, that seek your advice and look to you guys and you've walked with them and you've mentored them. And so I'm sure there's many people that have probably asked you this question, but for myself and for the students, if you guys could give a piece of advice or encouragement in this day and age that we're living in. You guys have kids at home. I think Grace is in university right now, probably like halfway through at this point, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
finished first year. So yeah,
Yeah, crazy, crazy. And Caleb too, probably finishing out high school soon, if not
so he's finishing
already.
grade 11 right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, I was looking through your Facebook because I needed to find a picture to put on the Instagram, right? And like I find the ones of like at the farm field with the fence behind, kind of like this picture right now of you guys. I'm like, yeah, their family's all grown up since I can't use that one, but that's how I remember it. um, yeah, if there's a piece of advice or encouragement that you could give Bethel students tonight, what would it be in the climate that we currently live in?
Wow.
No pressure. It's to say the right thing, by the way.
Um, what to say from an old guy speaking to you is I would say that there's people in your world that you might not even realize, but are cheering you on like crazy. That at your church, there's old people that you might not even know their name, but they're actually praying for you, that
Mm,
love you, and that would do anything for you. And so you might think like, oh, those people like, but just know that there's people that like they are cheering you on. Likewise, I would say that there's people watching you. And sometimes as a teenager, I didn't get this, but I actually I got a Facebook message from a guy just a couple weeks ago. His name is Matt, and I was like a camp counselor for him when I was 14 years old. He was like a little kid, and I was 14. And he just talked about the impact I made on his life, and I thought, oh my goodness, like I was such an idiot. I don't know how I made any impact on anyone's life, but knowing that actually there's younger kids watching you and looking up to you like crazy, and that you could actually mentor them as well
wow.
is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think sometimes for me, like um, in my role at Mapleview, we talk a lot about young people being like the church of the future, but I don't think that's right. I think that like you don't need to wait
Mm-hmm.
for the future to be invested and involved in ministry at your church.
Hmm.
Um, I love having new young people jump on board because you guys have great ideas. Um, some of us are getting a little old and our ideas are a little tired. But I mean, we're still trying. But I think, like, especially in my department, like with the creative arts, like, you guys, your imaginations are a gold mine. So, like, don't wait for the future. If God puts something in your heart to do,
Hmm.
don't wait. Like, reach out to Pastor Carlo and Maddie, and reach
Mhm.
out to somebody and say, I've had this idea. Do you think this is God? Or like, and they'll give you some good godly wisdom, but don't wait um, for someday.
Yeah.
um, feel
Right.
free to dream now, and like there are leaders that will get behind you and champion you. Like, I'm so thankful for leaders in my life that didn't say, oh, you're just a kid, like, come back and see me when you're older. No, they let me step into ministry when I was young, and I'm so forever grateful. They gave me a safe place to make a mistake, and they loved me enough to walk me through that. And I think, like, you're not the
Hmm.
church of tomorrow, you're the church of right now.
Yeah, that's good. That's so awesome. I know that students that are watching, um, even though you can't see them, are very thankful for that, because it's so true. And we need more people like you guys saying that. That's good.
And I want to
That's
say
really
one more
good.
thing too, actually, if I can, is students. I'm with pastors all the time, and Pastor Carlo and Maddie are like some of the most top shelf pastors that I know. They have a bigger pastoral heart than almost anybody I know. They care for you. The conversations behind the scenes that you don't know about, that they're just like trying to think, how can I bless them? How can I encourage them? How can I speak into their life? Like, they're living their lives to want to. He's not doing it for a paycheck. He's not doing it for like any plaudits, but he's doing it because he cares about you guys and Maddie as well. And so you just know that you have people that really love you.
You really do
Hmm.
have the best.
Yeah, you're blessed.
Well, if that's true, we learned it from people like you guys. So thank you. And thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for taking time out of this beautiful evening. Like, look at this space you guys have. That's amazing. Hopefully, someday soon we can make our way
Carlo,
up to
you gotta
Barrie and
visit
visit.
us
Come
here.
visit.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we want to. We're actually going on vacation
you
this
can come
week.
too. But yeah,
And so it's actually on the way to our cottage. So the next time that we either, I don't think this time, but the next time we have a weekend in July, I think that we would love to make a day trip out of it and come see you guys. Would be a lot
stop
of
in for
fun.
lunch.
We would
Yeah.
absolutely love that. Yeah, Scott and I were doing a worship night a few weeks ago, and I actually said to him, you know who I miss on nights like this is Carlo and Matt. He was like, yeah, that would be really good. So
Those were some of my
not the
favorite.
best, but
Jay, I got a little tip for you. Um, because you just said like you're an old guy now and the grays are showing, and I only can say that because I have just as many, but if you cover it up with this,
Dude,
then you
that's a sweet thing you've done. So you need to work on stage 2 of that.
yeah.
literally, I'm like, if I just wait like another like month, it will be long enough where I can cut it so I don't have to be bald, because every other male pastor at the church is bald and their initials are Pastor C, whether it's Chad or Charlie. And I just don't want to follow down that reign. I want to keep my hair.
I actually think, students, you should do a fundraiser with Pastor Carlo, and if you raise enough money, that he would actually cut his hair like a skullet and like shave the top and leave a skullet. That would be amazing.
And that's the end of the live stream. See you guys.
That would be
we just
amazing.
did we just did a fundraiser for one of the public schools in town, because they want to build a new like jungle gym. So they're doing like this $2 fundraiser. So give $2. So it's anybody could participate in it, not just the people that can write a big check or something. So we did that as a church as well. We hopped in on that with a bunch of other people from the city, and every pastor had a jar, and people were filling them with toonies and stuff. But Chad's was getting like $100 bills every Sunday, and his was stacked to the brim every single week. So he had to spin this like wheel of death kind of thing on Sunday,
I love it.
and there was things like wax your legs, or now he always shaves his head, but another one was grow your hair out for 2 months, which would have been really funny. But my favorite, which ended up happening, was be a vegetarian for a month.
Oh,
So starting on Monday for a whole
oh,
month.
I'm kidding
Yeah.
around.
Wow.
So we've done some pretty brutal fundraisers. So I've had to look like this since March, and Chad is doing technically the Daniel fast, I guess.
So good. That's so good. I
Yeah.
got
So
steak. So
yeah. He's put a picture up today already of his barbecue, and it's got like peppers and asparagus on it, but no meat, which I wasn't interested in. Anyways, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. This was, I know, a blessing to our students, and I know that even the ones that weren't able to join us now just because of COVID stuff will be tuning in later too to watch it. So thanks for giving of your time tonight. Appreciated your wisdom and your encouragement to each and every one of these students, and can't wait to the day where I can actually have you guys come speak in person. That would be really awesome too. That'd be really special. So
awesome. Love
yeah.
you guys.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Love you too. Take care. See you soon.
Awesome. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that talk, that chat about mentorship with Pastors Jason and Carla Small. They are seriously some of my favorite people of all time. And I hope that you took some notes, physical, hopefully, if not mental. And we're going to take just a few minutes now. So the stream is about to end, but we're just going to take just a couple minutes and hang out over on Zoom. So I hope that you would come and join us. I'm going to right now get the link for you and paste it in the chat. This happens every time where it doesn't want to work. I don't know why it doesn't want to work. Okay, let me find it. Okay, here we go. Meeting ID and password. There you go. The meeting ID and passcode is in the chat. So you could join us on Zoom. And we hope that you come and join us so that we have a few minutes to see each other face to face, to chat about maybe one big takeaway that you got tonight from Pastors Jason. I was going to say Chad, Jason, and Pastor Carla. And it would be good to see you face to face. If not, we'll see you on Sunday for church at home. And if not, of course, next Wednesday for our next interview for our series on mentorship. See ya in just a few seconds over on Zoom. All right? Peace.